it is so normalized to disrespect black people today. And it's crazy to think about it, but that's the truth of it. It's so normal in society as a whole. And that's why it's important to say Black Lives Matter. All lives do matter, but it's important to emphasize Black lives. Imagine if we played a game, instead of cops and robbers, we play Border Patrol. That's fucked up, ain't it?
It is.
Okay then. So why you out here saying nigga? That ain't right, bro. Relax. Because the minute we do that, it's a problem. I'm only doing this for educational purposes only.
But then you have some club music, which I can't lie, I like. We outside.
There's
yeah.
nothing wrong with it.
We outside. Like, I'm having a blast. And, you know, you got that music that gets you through your workout. But what's the message behind it? You know, baby mamas. This bitch, my bitch, your bitch, we bitch, love bitch, fuck bitch. I don't know, nigger bitch. I don't know. You know, we buying houses, cars. We got bitches in the pool.
Right.
We drinking alcohol. We having rich sex. We having sex all day.
Ownership is about protection.
Mm-hmm.
It's about making sure that if I'm bringing something of value, I have something that, you know, protects me in the long run. Right. But what actually matters when we're talking about like monetarily and stuff like that is equity at all times. Equity is what matters. And so the question is not like, oh, you know, I'm playing for the team, so I need to be getting paid. No, but I do need to be having some share in that equity that you're receiving, right? Because I am bringing in part of that value. It's not nowadays. We care more about representation more than we care about actual ownership. So,
and I think also it just helps you understand how money works and what percentage would you get? Who's actually owning this? Who will benefit from this, and their family will benefit from this for the rest of their lives. You know, every system runs on incentives. That kind of curates the question, what is getting rewarded? Welcome back to another episode of Asking the Right Questions with Haley
and Mario.
And today we're talking about who owns the culture and why does that matter?
Yeah. So a lot of this was really inspired by our trip that we just got off of in Los Angeles. We went to Los Angeles. What was it, like 3-4 days?
5?
5?
No, 4 days.
4 days. 4 days. So yeah, we was out there for like 4 days just to get inspired and try to see what we could talk about. And there was a lot out there that is like, you know, we could see the diversity. We could see like the historical context behind like not just Black people, but Hispanics, white people, like. We just saw like everything, like all the mixture of stuff.
Pacific Islanders, Asians.
Oh my God, yeah. It's a lot of Asians. It's a whole lot of Asians.
And Pacific Islanders.
It's a good bit of them. It's a whole lot of Asians.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, yeah, like being in Los Angeles kind of gave us like shed light on what we're going to be talking about today, as far as, you know, there's a lot of history behind, you know, ownership, but not a lot of not ownership, but a lot of history behind
creation,
inventorship, or
inventions,
creation. I like creation,
entrepreneurship, but all those people who, all those people don't own it. But let's first talk about our trip to LA and just how we liked it before we get into things. First, I want to say, like, I loved LA, the scenery. Like, we definitely have to go back for longer. Like, we have to enjoy a Lakers game. I don't think we did that. Like, a Dodgers game.
Yeah,
like,
bought the ticket and didn't go.
Yeah, we bought the tickets and
that was wild.
We didn't go. But, you know, we loved it there. I love the Black culture there specifically, and just how everyone sticks together. And it's not a crab in a bucket mentality. It's like, you got people out there just enjoying the time in the sun. You got people, you know, encouraging others to vote. So I just really do appreciate that.
When I think he thought we was locals for real. Yeah, we wasn't all dressed up. We was just regular. Mm-hmm. And he's like, y'all want to vote? I'm like, bro, we ain't from here. And we started talking. He's like, oh yeah, y'all ain't from here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But that's cool though. Like,
it's just nice to see that somewhere, you know, not where we're from. Yeah. And just knowing that people have the same, you know, ideas and the same, you know, they want to get the community involved. So
and this is off topic, but that just gave me an idea because I don't see that. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's what I'm going to probably start doing too, of like setting up shop like, "Hey, bro, y'all registered to vote? If not,
Mhm.
let's go."
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I'll go ahead and put that in for you.
I will say a
So,
lot of people do it, like,
I've never seen
at the
that.
University of South Carolina, I think a lot of Black college students do it, like, with the African American society there,
Which
like
makes sense though, because a
mhm,
lot of like the civil rights movement was bred and pushed by the colleges, black
mhm,
colleges. So
yeah.
that makes sense.
So, yeah, a lot of organizations and, like, Divine Nine does
Yeah.
things like that, so it happens. I don't think it like
Outside of that though.
yeah,
Yeah.
outside of that, because I don't think that guy was
Never seen
Greek
it.
or college, so it was just nice to just seeing someone
I lived
who's a part of the community that,
North Charleston,
wants to
South Carolina. I ain't never seen nobody say, "Hey, are y'all registered to vote?" Ain't nobody
mhm,
worried about that. Like, what?
mhm,
Bruh, what we talking about? Never
yeah.
seen it. So I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I think in those type of areas, it'd be a great thing to do. So
Yeah, for sure. Also, we went to a couple museums. We went to Venice Beach,
mhm.
which was really nice. We gotta go back
That
because
was nice.
I was having a ball, but I feel like we couldn't stay there
We
for that
couldn't.
long.
We had a flight,
We
yeah.
had a flight to catch, so but I really do want to go back, like, and have a whole beach day
Couldn't
there
find a car,
because
like,
couldn't find the car. It took us 30 minutes to find the
that
car.
was
So
crazy.
like,
I thought we got told too, I ain't gonna lie.
I'm
I thought somebody towed the car.
I don't think it was just so many people there. I don't think that was the main
Only reason
issue.
I thought that was just because, like, I couldn't find the car.
I
And it's
think
like,
we
we don't
just
walk because I'm like, I know it ain't further down and I know it ain't further back. It has to be in this area, but it's not. So,
you was looking at that first street. It was actually on the second street.
yeah.
So I think that's why you thought because we were in the right
No, that
area,
is
but
why.
yeah. We went to a couple museums. And yeah, like we experienced a
Motion
lot.
pictures. What was it?
Museum of Motion Pictures.
Yeah, and then we went to Universal
Yeah,
and we did the tour at
that's not really a
Universal.
museum, but
It's not, but we did the tour.
yeah.
That was like just learning about the cinematography and the
Mhm.
studios, and really seeing how they transform the studios into like a theme park.
Mhm.
Just because they're transforming away from the studios, so they got to find a way to like still make money off of this stuff.
Mhm.
So just understanding
And
that,
how they make it look so real.
yeah,
Like you would think they're like working, like they're filming in actual hospitals and like, but no,
mhm,
it's like their own little town.
yeah,
So it was just really cool to see that. But also what I didn't appreciate about LA is just the comfortability of using the N word
yeah, nigga,
and and yeah, like we were walking out the museum, walking back to the car, um, and there was a group of teenage Hispanics, or maybe in their 20s, maybe. And he said like he called the dude a nigga, like nigga, what you doing? But he wasn't talking to any black
yeah.
people.
He was like, nigga, go get you some food.
Yeah,
And
like
remember, we walked
we was
past,
like, huh?
and
Like
I looked at you, and I'm like, I could have sworn he said nigga,
we
and
wasn't
you looked at me,
sure.
and you was like, he
I'm
did.
pretty sure he
I'm
did.
like,
Yeah.
wow, that's crazy. I thought I was tripping. That's wild.
And
That's wild.
he wasn't talking to us, he was just talking to his friends, and, like, all of them at the table were
Yeah,
Hispanics. So, it just made me like, "Dang," like, they actually, like, mock our culture and mock our sayings thinking it's cool, but, like,
that
also
ain't
on the
cool at
other
all.
hand, don't wanna go through what the culture has been through as
Right.
well.
Because
Um
imagine if we made a game, right?
Mhm,
And like, cause I grew up outside,
mhm.
right? So in the country, not in the country, but just outside. Imagine if we made a, cause we used to play tag, we used to play freeze tag, what
Hide
else?
and seek.
Hide and seek. Imagine if we played a game instead of cops and robbers, we play border patrol. That's fucked up, ain't it?
It
Okay
is.
then. So why you out here saying nigga? That ain't right, bro. Relax. Because the
We're
minute
gonna
we
get
do that, it's a
canceled.
problem. That's I'm only doing this for educational purposes only. I'm just saying. If we was to do something like that, we would be called racist and all kind of shit.
No, for sure.
But
No,
the minute they do, they say, nigga, go get you some food. It's like, bro, I was just speaking. Like, all right, bro.
yeah, but then if we would say that, it would be a whole different thing.
Exactly.
We would get canceled,
Because I'm
like
sure they got some derogatory terms about them that they wouldn't want us to say.
yeah,
So
for sure.
it's crazy. But
Then
not on,
also we
yeah.
got called like downtown. We was getting food. Bruh, he claimed y'all, we got called
We
niggers
did not, bro.
with the hard ER
We
at
did
that.
not,
Yes,
bro.
we did.
Bro,
Yes, we
I'm
did.
telling you, you telling people that is definitely gonna make them look at me and be like, why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't do nothing?
No, but like
Man, that ain't
Mario,
even the case,
you're
bro.
like, you like in your like spiritual journey,
I
and
promise you that
you
don't mean
said you
nothing.
was okay, but like,
I
and like
promise you
it's
that don't
me,
mean
like
nothing.
I can't do nothing. That man, that was a bulky ass man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, spiritual journey don't mean nothing because at the end of the day, when it come down to it, it's yeah. So that
Mario,
ain't it.
we might have
That man
triggered.
was not talking to us,
He
bro.
might have been triggered because he saw black people, but he definitely called. He was like niggers.
He
was
did
like,
say niggers. Now I ain't gonna lie. He said that. Now.
yeah.
And he was just like venting. Like what I got from the situation. Somebody just did something to him.
Somebody probably fucked him up on that
And
bus.
he needed some help or assistance, and that's why he knocked on the windows like, "Yo,
because
like
he
somebody
had
come out here."
a bloody
Yeah,
face,
he was snotting up and stuff. So somebody just did
snotty
something to him.
nose. But no, Mario, because that man had mental issues too. Because I promise you, he was looking like you was ordering the food and you was paying for the food, so you wasn't paying attention. And this is why, like, I was like, oh, Demario he's like really mature now because he was like, nigger, and then he looked at me, nigger bitch, and then he was like, if you look over here one more time, I'll fucking kill you. And I was like, oh. And that's why, and that's why I was like,
I was
Mario,
paying attention though. Like I was just really paying, like looking at him out of my periphery. I wasn't really like, because I was trying to hear what he was saying, but I was trying to still listen to like what the man in front of us was saying too. So like listening at the same time. So I was really just looking out of my peripherals and just making sure that like he wasn't talking to us because he never turned around and looked at us directly. Everything that he said, he was leaning on the table and just speaking out loud.
I swear he looked at us because Mario, I swear, because like, why would I see the little snot coming from his nose? Because he was looking this way and we were like, you was us. Right. And he was this. And he was like shaking. He was like, niggers. And then he was like, nigger bitch. He like he had Tourette's, like that dude from it. Like this man had Tourette's or something, like he couldn't control it. And I was like, oh dang. And I was like, dang. But then he was like, if you look over here, because I was looking. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was looking because I gotta stay. I mean,
of course.
You gotta stay aware because like I'm thinking like, oh, this is a big ass man. What am I gonna do if he attacks me? Because clearly he doesn't like black people. Right. So I'm looking at him like, oh, and I'm like standing behind you at the same time because like if he gotta hit one of us first, it ain't gonna be me.
Well, he ain't gonna hit you at all. Like
it ain't gonna be me. And I'm going to be the one that goes in the car and gets help. So anyways,
I had the key though.
Oh Lord, I think he was gonna get me. Okay, anyways.
Damn, so you think that man gonna take me down?
No. No, not at all. I really don't. Like this man already get beat up on the bus. You think he might have had some adrenaline rushing on. You might have.
Nah, that wouldn't. No.
But that goes to say, like, people around us felt bad, but they didn't.
Yeah,
they didn't have no like real sympathy or empathy for us because it's like, okay, he's saying this stuff out loud, but like people were acting normal, like this shit was normal
as fuck.
And I was like, bro, this is not normal. Like I feel like
they just kept moving by their day, like
I feel like if this happened, it's like
we should have got a free Chick-fil-A for that.
We should have got this was at Chick-fil-A establishment.
A fucking Christian establishment at that. Y'all supposed to be Christian. What's up?
We should have got free food for it.
And that's just a joke. But the real issue is this though. Had I would have knocked him out or even addressed it and did something to him, everybody out there would have looked at me like I was a problem.
Mm-hmm. You would have been wrong.
The police would have came up and arrested me. Like
for sure.
Nobody would have said, "Oh, he was doing this," and he was like, nobody would say that. And I think that's because it is so normalized to disrespect black people today. And it's crazy to think about it, but that's the truth of it. It's so normal in society as a whole to just disrespect black people.
Like I feel
and disregard black lives as a whole. And that's why it's important to say Black Lives Matter. All lives do matter, but it's important to emphasize black lives, especially because of situations like this where it's like we're still 3/5 of a human.
Yeah, I feel like some people had sympathy because the lady said something to me. I don't know what she said, but she was
She made
like,
a joke, and it wasn't even about that.
but no, but she did say something to me, but she started coughing, and me
Yeah.
and coughing. I'm like, bitch, stand back. Like,
What did
I
she
don't
say?
want that.
Did I cough on you or something?
Yeah, like, did you cough on me? Because I think she was trying to say, like, because she was looking at me like,
I thought she
oh,
was
I'm so
mad.
sorry. We don't.
She looked at me. She was like, and I was like, looking at you, like,
But yeah, she was just like, she was looking at me like she
Yeah.
felt bad, but like she didn't want to say anything. And if that was any other race, if that was, not trying to
Asians.
pick people, Asian people, a white woman, a white man, like they would feel bad. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And
They
like
would have spoke up.
they would have spoke up. And
Facts.
that man knew what he was doing. Because
He
first
did.
of all, we was in downtown LA, so cops are everywhere. So if DeMario was to knock that man out, DeMario was gonna be the one at fault because at the end of the day, that's assault.
Facts.
So like he knew what he was doing because he wasn't saying that when he was crossing the street. He just
Not
waited
at
until
all.
he saw something.
You wait till you see black people at Chick-fil-A to try to come to Chick-fil-A. Like, man, relax.
Yeah.
But that's why.
And that goes to like even what you were saying, like disrespect of black people is like so common.
Loud.
And it's loud, exactly, because you can even talk about what happened at the was it BAFTAs? The BAFTAs awards?
Yeah. Had they have said something
with Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo. If I'm saying that right, I might have mixed up their names, but I know Michael B. Jordan and then Delroy.
Yeah.
Or Mr. Lindo. I don't know if I mixed up his name, but and how nobody really spoke up for them. They were speaking up for the dude who had Tourette's more than they was speaking for them, and they handled that with so much class and grace. And the thing is, what's making me kind of like ramp up now?
Why should they?
Is because we, as black people, we have to handle every situation like that with so much grace, or we will get accused of being wrong.
We gotta be a Barack Obama. We gotta be a Michelle Obama. We gotta
I'm not no Michelle Obama.
A Martin Luther King. We gotta be a Jesse Jackson. Like, bro, we can't ever be Malcolm X. We can't ever be Huey P. Newton. Like, what?
And to that man who call me a nigger bitch, guess where I'm at? In my home.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I'm in my home.
Hey, we love the homeless.
Okay.
But the thing is, right?
You were saying, okay, you can clip that out. But for example, you were saying like, we got to be Michelle Obamas and Barack Obamas and stuff. Not me. Not me. I love the homeless and I love, caring for people. But once you go low and call me an N-word, B-word,
it's a little bit. But here's the thing, though.
I'm going to hell because like.
Here's the thing, right?
Guess where I'm going to? My home.
Hear me out.
The fuck?
Hear me out. It's different because, right? I can be real and love you and still give you this ass whooper. Mm-hmm. I can fuck you up and still give you everything with love, right? Mm-hmm. But it's different when you say, oh, whatever you said, and then you say, but I love the homeless. No, you don't, because now you've just shown the true nature of yourself that's outside of what you said, right? Mm-hmm. And so the reason why you still have to show poise is because anything contrary to that goes against your entire character. So I can still say, I'm going to give you grace, but if you come to me a certain way, I'm going to fuck you up. Mm-hmm. That's a whole different thing.
So I can't say
me saying, that's why you homeless now. It's like, why?
I'm not saying that's because he's homeless, but I'm going to tell you, since you called this, you know where this nigger bitch is going back to? Her house.
But that's pointless. Like, that's like making fun of somebody that's disabled or making fun. Like, where I'm going? To walk. Like, what? That's fucked up.
But you can't be saying fucked up shit in your situation. I
understand it, but
you can't be homeless and calling people this, and then the same people you disrespecting got a home. Like now, since disrespect is on the table, let's unfold the cloth. I might be what you call me, but what are you? Well, first of all, I'm not no nigger bitch. But second of all, since you want to go there, let's go toe to toe.
But the thing is,
let's go toe to toe. I'm not Michelle Obama. They go low, they go high. They go low. I'm going to hell.
I understand.
I'm going to hell. Guess where I'm going at? I'm going back to my car with my food and my drink, which you was asking for, and my home. I'm not even from here. Matter of fact, I'm traveling on a vacation. Let's get that. Also, guess where I'm going back after? My home, my house that I own.
People different.
That I own. So don't like.
People different.
Don't play with me, bro. Don't do that. Like, be like, oh, like yes, you got to give people grace, but once you just disrespect keep doing it, not you didn't.
But wait. Here's what I'm saying, because you're going on a rant. But what I'm trying to emphasize is this, right?
Mm-hmm.
That could one day be you. So
facts.
So that's why we don't do that. That's why we don't make fun of a person's circumstance, situation, because at the end of the day, if that was me, if I ever do end up in that situation, I would never want nobody to do that to me.
But would you disrespect someone who would you disrespect someone?
Let's listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is you can still be assertive without being that
an asshole.
That's not an asshole. That's being like
disrespectful.
You don't care for human life, period. Or you don't care for human life. Because to throw away that man's situation and circumstance just because he threw away yours is not okay. It's not valid.
I mean, I care for life, but I like at that point, like you show me you don't care for me. So why do I have to care for you?
Because you have to.
No, I don't. And that's the issue. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we have to carry so much grace. Like,
we do.
Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, they had to carry so much grace at the awards, even though that man called them the N-words.
Hey.
Record, during a show, recording the show, and he disrespected. I don't think that was the only time he disrespected somebody, but that's the only time they caught it on camera. So what does that say?
That's the only time they kept it.
Or yes, they kept it on camera. So what does that say about the people at the BAFTAs?
Yeah.
Or who runs the recording and all that stuff? So I'm saying that to say, like, yes, we have to have grace, but sometimes you don't have to tolerate that disrespect. Like, I didn't say nothing to that man when he was saying that, because obviously he's going through something and shit. I'm gonna keep it 100. I was scared. Like, this nigga, he looked kind of crazy. So I'm just like,
I'm not saying tolerate it. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm not saying tolerate it, but you saying
you said tolerate. I'm not saying tolerate. You don't have to tolerate that stuff. Like what?
But he said he was gonna kill you.
Okay, I ain't hear all that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like now you're trying to get a rouse out of me.
I'm just saying, bro, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
because you know
that's why I'm riled up though, because it's like, all right, now you threaten me with my life, nigga. Guess what? I got a home to go to. I got food. I got water. I'm going to a car.
We got options. We don't have to sit there and argue with somebody.
I didn't argue. I'm just saying.
I'm saying though, because you're saying all this after the fact. But I'm saying though, like.
Oh, wow.
That was a little shade. My bad. But I'm just saying, though, there ain't no reason to argue with it, right? Like, yes, we having this conversation to bring up the fact that, like, we are looked at as less than, and we are looked at as, like, you just got to deal with it. And that is a problem. However, that is not saying that now it's okay for us to treat people in the same manner in which they treat us because of what we go through. That's not okay. That is never going to be okay. So that's all that I'm saying.
No, like, I agree.
There are options when it comes to how do we respond, because we can respond. We are valid in our response. But when our response comes outside of our character and how we're supposed to carry ourselves, then we become just as wrong as the next person. And that's the problem. Because now I need to be held accountable and they need to be held accountable. Instead, it could have just been they need to be held accountable. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
I was wrong for saying I'm going to my home?
Yes.
Because he's homeless?
Yes.
But he wasn't wrong for calling me.
See, did you hear anything that I said?
No, I heard what you said.
I said they need to be held accountable. How do you hold somebody accountable if they're not wrong? Obviously, he is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But the minute you say something else, now you and him, not just him.
Okay.
It's two different things.
I understand.
I don't think you do.
In my home.
I don't think you do. That is fun.
Anyways, let's get to the quick take, y'all. Let's get to the quick take. So it is March, and we do want to honor Black History Month. So, and February has passed, of course. So what we're gonna do is name inventions or music styles Black Americans helped shape.
Yeah.
So the Mario, light bulb,
Government name. Okay.
telephone.
Telephone.
You know, it's heating up outside. We outside.
Okay.
Hey, we outside.
Hey.
It's
Hey.
almost summertime here in South Carolina.
Kakalaka.
It's 80.
I hate when
What
people
was
say
it?
that.
Was it like 85 degrees outside right
I've
now?
only ever heard out of town people say some shit like that.
Yeah.
South Kakalaka, like, bruh, shut the fuck
You
up.
wouldn't even say it right.
I don't know, but I just hate when people say that shit. But go ahead.
So it's getting hot outside. That AC, when we coming inside for the day,
Right.
we need that AC unit to cool off.
We do.
Cause where we at? We out.
Outside. Hey.
Hey.
Okay.
Okay. Train toilet. So when you traveling on the train and you got to go to the bathroom, this man made that. And then also he had contributions to what we know as an elevator today.
Yeah.
So Mr. Lewis Latimer.
Yep.
He's an inventor, an engineer, and he's patent a lot. He has a lot of patents as well.
Yeah.
He invented the light bulb.
Well, he doesn't anymore because he's dead and gone, and you know they don't last forever. But yeah, he does. He's had a lot of inventions. Yes.
Yeah.
My bad, gang.
No, I mean it's okay, but I was just like, dang, dead and gone is crazy.
Dead and gone.
No, let's not. Much respect. Rest in peace, Mr. Lewis Latimer, for your inventions, the light bulb, the telephone, AC unit, train, toilet, and your contributions to what we know today as an elevator. We really do. These are all things we use still today, and we just, you have so much respect. I mean, you're not really hearing this. However,
you talking to him like he right here.
Right. However, rest in peace, and we just
Man, it's
we're
gone.
like every society, not just the Black community, but society really does appreciate your contributions to these inventions.
Facts. And then just to expand on kind of like what he did too, right? So a lot of like his stuff was partnered with so the light bulb. We all know who gets contribution for that, which is
who get credit for that.
Right, credit. Thomas Edison, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is one of the pioneers that was right there alongside of Thomas Edison that helped pioneer the light bulb, because when it was just Thomas Edison by himself, he had trouble, maintaining the light or the electrical circuit that was inside the light. And then you had a guy like Lewis Latimer who came along and, helped in his inventions that made it sustainable to even use light bulbs today, right? And then Alexander Graham Bell gets credited for the telephone. I don't actually know what he did to help with the telephone, but he helped Alexander Graham Bell with the telephone.
He might have built some parts of it or like invented some parts that, helped the telephone work.
Yeah. So.
But military man, when you had to do your training and stuff, and they had the gas chamber, you had to walk through that. This man made the gas mask so you could get through training and basic. Also, he invented the traffic light, which helps, like, even though there's still bad traffic today because people can't drive.
Northerners.
People in Charleston.
They come from Ohio. Northerners. Try again.
Okay, yeah, you're right. But people in Charleston can't drive at all.
They all from North.
I'm from Charleston, and I know I can't drive. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not trying to put, like, I'm not trying to be like dog. I'm not trying to dog Charleston people. I'm trying to say,
I
like,
promise you, comparing you to a Northerner is like, bro, they drive, nah, it's not the same.
But he made the traffic light, so it's not stop and go. It makes the traffic flow. So thank you, Mr. Garrett Morgan.
Yeah, he made the yellow light, right?
Yeah, I think he made the one that the red, yellow, green light.
Yeah, so
because the other one was stop and go. I
stop and go. Yeah, like it was just red and green at first, and then he realized like, yo,
we need something that signals like we need to be slowing down.
You can't just stop immediately. Like,
right.
He had common sense like most people lack, but he had common sense. So
thank you, Mr. Garrett Morgan, inventor and entrepreneur.
Because that's not even an invention. An invention is like you building something and, whatever. That's more of like his mind, like you thinking. He had common sense.
And it's not common.
Common sense ain't that common. That's what I learned too. So
that's what I was saying. So this next woman, who's a doctor, she made the fiber optic communication, which you can explain what that is because I didn't know what
Oh,
that was at first. But also, Demario, who's this calling my phone?
you know how you gonna know?
Caller ID. The
Hey, thank
fuck?
God.
Caller ID. And this woman, she invented caller ID as well, so you know who calling your phone. Um, so Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson, thank you for your contributions to the fiber optic communication and
Who is
caller
still alive
ID.
today?
Yeah, still alive today. So just now I could talk to her because she's
Hey,
alive.
you could, yeah. Go ahead, speak to
So
her.
Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson, we just want to thank you for your contributions to society. And Demario, do you mind explaining fiber optic communication? Because I'm not sure.
Yeah, so that's what enables us to have global internet access today. So everything that we have runs off of basically fiber optic communication, whether that's from the missiles that we have that operates on Wi-Fi or whatever networks that they operating off of, and even just like social media networks. All of that stuff is built or ingrained off of just the fiber optic cables that are underground. And those stuff is expensive. And they go all across the ocean as well. So that's what allows global internet access. They're not that prevalent in Africa as much, and that's mainly why you see there's not a lot of internet connection in Africa. But you know,
Would you know?
oh boy,
Okay.
that's a shade. Okay, I got you. I
Nah,
got you.
nah, nah. They don't get the inside joke. But
When you were in
um
Africa, did you have access to internet as easily as you did in here?
mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
It dropped a lot.
Because you would know.
But
I got you.
I paid for like the international
Right.
for Verizon.
Right.
Well, my dad paid. Shout out
Right.
to you, Dad. um
But hey, she did.
so
Yeah. Okay. It was just, and she didn't create the caller ID, but her developments was what enabled the caller ID.
so we
Basically,
appreciate that. So
for
we
sure.
know who calling our phones.
Thank God for Black women.
Say it again. Um, anyways, this next guy, he improved electrical resistors used in TVs, computers, pacemakers, which are very important,
Why?
missiles and radios, because um cardiovascular diseases are one of the top um reasons why people, especially in the black community, die today.
That's
So,
facts.
especially not only in the black community, but black women. I think that's the number one reason why black women die.
Wait. So
Is
you're telling me that
cardiovascular
this
diseases.
man saved a lot of Black lives?
I mean, he saved a lot of lives in general.
Yeah, but primarily Black because this is something that is very
I mean,
associated with the Black people.
yeah.
More Black people has that condition than any other person.
Well, maybe use pacemakers, but I mean, I wouldn't just say black people. He just saved a lot of lives. Period. He's a lifesaver.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
just say like because
Thanks
I
for the
don't.
education.
I
I
mean, I don't
appreciate
want
it.
to just say like black lives because I feel like people who use it that are white, black, Asian, Pacific Islanders,
Yeah.
they Hispanics, they all need to give him his credit. So
Okay, I
not just
like
black
that.
people.
I
So
like that.
that's why I'm saying that. He also invented missiles. He also
He didn't
invented
invent missiles.
oh, my
The
bad.
technology
He
that
invented
he
the
created
technology to help.
enables us to use TVs, computers, pacemakers, missiles, radios,
Okay.
right? Because when you think about missiles, when you think about missiles, they get hot. They very hot, right? They gotta have that fuel, and even like in order to like go up in the air and come back down and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But how does something that hot is able to like how are you able to sustain that amount of heat with that amount of like electricity? That's
Mhm.
dangerous, right? So
Mhm.
these electrical resistors that he created or built or manufactured is what we use today for computers, missiles, whatever. Because even your TV can overheat. I mean, I'm sure you anybody knows that if you plug it in the wrong way, or you don't have the right. Well, really, electricians know, but most people don't. So
Mhm.
everything can overheat. Anything can overheat. But because of this man, they don't.
All right. The next man invented electric
This is a woman.
microphones. James West.
Oh, that's a man. Okay.
Yes. So the next person is Mr. James West. He invented the electric microphone, in which they are now used in 90% of hearing aids, cameras, and phones.
Mhm.
So shout out to Mr. James West. Um, for making that. Like we're using it right now, and hearing aids is something that's important. Cameras, phones. So when you're recording a video on these cameras, whether it's your phone camera, he invented that. So there's something we need today, especially like when you talk about how during COVID we all moved online with Zoom and stuff. So without those microphones, you know, it would be very hard to operate in the
Yeah.
world during those times.
Thank God for the black man.
Say that again for the ones in the back.
Hey.
I wasn't as excited, but we love our black men. We love our black men. Next woman, she holds over 200 patents. VoIP, and she contributed to VoIP,
Yeah.
Zoom, and internet calls.
Well, who is still? She's still alive too.
Oh, she's.
I think James West is still alive as well. So.
Okay, so Mr. James West, we thank you for your contribution. You deserve your flowers, of course. Marion Croak, she's the one who I just described, holds over 200 patents, contributed to VoIP, Zoom, and internet calls. Demario, do you mind describing what VoIP is? Because I didn't know what that was.
So she helped establish what we now know as voice over the internet protocol. And that's what allows us to even be able to use Zoom or any like app that allows you to call over the Wi-Fi, right? And that's basically what it is, allowing you to call over the Wi-Fi. Because when you think about language models and just language in general, our computers, our laptops, these things aren't people. They're just things, right? And so how do we get English, Spanish, how do we get our language to now translate into the computer and transmit to the next person's computer, right? And in order to do that, we have to translate English and whatever other language into the computer's language, which is ones and zeros, and transmit that back to somebody else, and then they turn that back into audio, and that's what we now know as voice over the internet protocol.
Good. You want to take the next one?
Ooh, the banjo. This land is your land. This land is my land. That was my shit, bro. Second grade, that was my shit. But no, the banjo. The banjo was created by West Africans, and we come from slavery. A lot of us come from slavery, and so a lot of the traditions that we brought to America was music, and the banjo was one of the most proliferating or most influential during that time, right? We don't really use it as much today, but we use the banjo back then for like country music, blues. I don't think we use it a lot for like church music. I think the banjo back then I would probably attribute to what they like consider like blues or jazz music, and that was kind of like devilish. So I mean that's just my opinion. I don't know for sure.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, like, in Sinners, like, and I think,
the church to me, I think would be using like hand claps, tambourines, and just like stumping in feet. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Traditional black church.
But I do appreciate that Ryan Coogler, he kind of, he introduced and like kind of told us the history and the background story of like what the banjo was and the guitar through the character Preacher Boy, and how that whole scene he did in the juke joint, where they had the dancing and the arts and everything, that it just showed over a period of a couple minutes that the history of what everything came from. So just going off of that, I just appreciate people that are in entertainment today still keeping it around, so people know where it's coming from, and like people are curious about the history behind it. So like Beyonce, she's bringing country back. She's bringing things that Black people used to have on mainstream that's not mainstream anymore. She's bringing that back, and I appreciate that she brought with Cowboy Carter, she brought back the country,
right,
and like how it brought that mainstream for Black people specifically. And it's sad I don't know his name, but the guy who made the song Boots on the Ground, and he made a couple other songs, him bringing that part back with the fans and the cowboy boots and the cowboy hats, and he's from South Carolina as well.
Yeah.
And so just them bringing that back and bringing that mainstream where we're kind of like finding ourselves again, where we all we think about is when we think about, maybe not now, but like few years ago or years ago, when you thought about black culture, you thought about hip hop, 90s, R&B, but you didn't think about country. You
Yeah.
didn't think about, you know, the banjo. You didn't
Right.
think about things like that. So I do just want to give them their flowers. Ryan Coogler, Beyonce, other entertainment and people in entertainment and artists that are bringing those things back and kind of showing us our history and bringing that mainstream and kind of showcasing that this was once ours and let's take it back over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all mainstream really is just the general population, general pop or
Hmm.
gen pop, whatever. What's accessible to everybody, and so that's why it is important for a lot of things, to be mainstream because our history is being erased, and they're
Hmm.
taking it out of schools. And if we don't educate ourselves and have the knowledge of we started this,
Hmm.
we're the ones who initiated this, or we are the pioneers of it, right? Even if we didn't start it, and so it lets you know you don't have to just like rap. You don't have to just like R&B. You can love blues. You can love jazz. You can love country music. You know,
Rock, because
rock. You can love all of these stuff
hmm
because like this is your history too, right? Like even like, and it's not even just saying like, oh, white people shouldn't have it because it's accessible to anybody. It's open to the public. However, when we in schools, like it's kind of like a thing where some people get picked on for like you like blues or like with me like, oh, you like gospel, like it's like, bro, we're in all of it. Like, what
hmm
are we talking about? So that's why it's important too.
Yeah, and like you said, just going back, kind of elaborating what you said, I think with the history part, that's the most important, and that's why I pointed out those people because they brought the Ryan Coogler's, the Beyonces, because they're bringing back our history when it's being erased, and
Yeah.
they're telling our story, and not and they're not allowing our story to get erased, but they're bringing it back, and they know they have the voice that a lot of us don't have, and so they're bringing that back to mainstream. And so that's why I said I appreciate that because, the Ryan Coogler scene was very powerful. And then Beyonce's, Cowboy Carter, that album is like, dang, I actually like country music, but I wouldn't have known that. You hear the little popular country songs you like,
Right.
but you don't listen to it as a genre.
Right.
So now, Beyonce brought it back like, dang, I actually like this. And then also she brought in her album she had people featured
Yeah.
that were also
Country
country
artists.
artists,
Yeah.
so black country artists. And so I appreciated that in that artistry.
Yeah. And now that moves us to the next person, which is Robert Fleming Jr. He's one of the I wouldn't say first, but he's one of the people that patented modern day guitar as we know it today. Because back then the guitar was just like a traditional home style instrument. It was kind of like the violin. It wasn't as loud as it is today, and it didn't have that same feeling that it produces today that we have in that rock or in that um pop, right? And so Robert Fleming Jr. He patented one of the earliest designs. So yeah, very important.
Yes, and last but not least, this guy, talking about LA, we went to LA to the
Yeah.
Museum of Motion Pictures, and we didn't see this guy featured at all. He might have been in the section or the area that
Was
was
closed.
closed for the day, but Frederick McKinley Jones, he built early portable sound systems used in motion pictures
Yeah.
and cinema sound. So I'm not sure if he's still living today. Do you know?
Now that man is dead and gone.
Yeah, all right. Um, but I'm calling out the Museum of Motion Pictures to put them in the museum because I mean, you highlighted people from every culture who, you know, contribute contributed to the motion pictures, but we didn't see him. Now
Yeah.
he could have been on that floor that we wasn't allowed to go on, but we didn't see him. So if he's not in there, Frederick McKinley Jones, he built early portable sound systems using motion pictures. He deserves to be in that museum because yes, the pictures are showing movement. Motion pictures are like
Right.
individual pictures that show movement and build the story, but you need
No
the
sound.
sound to tell the story. So I think that's just as important as the pictures as well.
Yeah, and it's not even as like the goal is not to be integrated in anything, right?
Mhm.
But the goal is to make sure that we are remembered. Is
Mhm.
this to make sure that we know our own history,
Mhm.
whether or not anybody else wants to acknowledge it. And a lot of it is really just like telltelling or storytelling, and that's how we've told our story or told our history by generations. Is just by storytelling, and so it's just important for us to just keep calling on names and just remembering people because if you don't remember them, they'll be forgotten. And then when they tell you that we ain't never been shit, we ain't never, attributed to anything, there'll
You'll
be no
start
data to
believing
back it
it,
up. So,
and you'll start believing it when that's not true,
so
for sure. So that was a lot of influence,
it is.
and a lot of people, and all that stuff is things we still use today in entertainment and daily living. So
That brings us to like the question of like, with all of that stuff that we created, right, as Black people or as people in general,
yeah,
how many of that, like, even still today, the question is like, how do you, like, who still owns it? Like, who still attributes to it? Who still benefits from it? Because
mhm.
is it the same people? Is it still those same like descendants of those people? Probably not. But that's the question that we're gonna be tackling. How much of that stuff that was created is still owned by the people?
Yeah, because basically, kind of like what we see today, you can be the face of something but still not own it or control it or benefit from it. So,
I.e., Mr. Tendenism.
oh yeah,
That's crazy.
that is true.
Man don't even own the name no more. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That man
Mhm.
used to get on the internet and say, it's your man, Mr. Tendenism. That boy
Or
took the name.
yeah, it's
It's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what we're getting at
But that's
is
what we hear though to
you can be
like
the face, but you ain't controlling nothing.
yeah.
And that's the problem. And so that's what we addressing. When you don't own it, what does that now create?
Yeah, cuz we just want like you said like we kind of want to educate on that and like curate a curate a curiosity.
Yeah.
Oof. Try to say that 5 times.
Mhm.
In people to like, what do I have and do I own it?
Yeah.
And should I own it? And who's benefiting from it besides me?
Yeah.
Or if you're not benefiting from it, why not? Um, so yeah, I think we're not gonna blame anybody here. We're not pointing the finger like, oh, you own it, you're taking advantage. It's more educational purpose and educational purposes and knowledge.
Yeah. Just to kind of emphasize why it's important to own stuff, right? It's not always about like just creating something, but now you have to establish ownership. You have to own your IP. You have to create your trademarks. You have to copyright your stuff that you're selling out there. Because most people have a book, but they don't copyright it or whatever it is. And like the laws is different. So copyrighting a book, you don't have to, but you still should. Like just stuff like that. So understanding the importance of ownership because it's not nowadays we care more about representation more than we care about actual ownership. So
Mhm. And I think also it just helps you understand how money works and how, what percentage would you get? Who's actually owning this? Who will benefit from this and their family will benefit from this for the rest of their lives.
yeah,
You know, because, every system runs on incentives, right? Um and then that kind of curates the question, what is getting rewarded?
yeah.
So,
So, question that we're going to be asking, I guess I'll start by asking you,
mhm.
what happens when people create value but they don't own the asset?
Mm. I think that's how people get taken advantage of. And I think that's how people, when you like, when you see different, these different like lifetime movies and documentaries of people who became famous, but somehow they're still broke. That's where you get this from. People create value, but they don't own the asset.
Yeah,
So, um, for example, what we learned in the
motion
museum.
pictures.
There's a lot of people who's the face of Warner Brothers. There's a lot of people who's the face of Paramount, but there's a lot of people who's the face of Universal.
Yeah,
But they're not benefiting from that. The people who created that, organization and that company, they're benefiting from that, but they didn't create the value.
yeah.
They might have created, okay, I take that back. They might have created the value and sense of, investing in it, like,
Brought the money, yeah, brought the income,
monetarily, but
yeah.
they didn't create the value that people see, like the faces and the personalities that we tend to love, you know?
Tupac was the face of Death Row Records and died broke. Prime
Mm,
example. And that was
mhm,
to another black man, so it's not even against black and white.
mhm,
So
exactly.
it's just the preference of well, not even preference, it's just the emphasis on ownership, period.
Mhm,
And establishing, making sure are all of my ducks in a row? Is everything set up the way that it should be set up? Because, a lot of the questions shouldn't even be tailored towards how do I start a business? The question should be when I start this business, is it established correctly?
mhm.
So that's what I think.
And also, I think it's really easy to forget about ownership because that's what we see. We see the fame, we see the talent, but we don't see the people that own.
Yeah.
And I think when people think about, oh, what am I going to do? Am I going to be a singer? Am I going to be an actress? Or even if they're going to be a chef, they don't look to own, they look to be the face. And I think that's kind of what we want to, you know, educate people about. Ownership isn't about being the face, it's about benefiting
Yeah.
from whatever, but you also don't want to take it also don't want to take advantage of the people who's the face. So like, yeah.
Why do you think how would you correlate representation? Because obviously representation is important, but how would you correlate representation with ownership?
I think, a lot of owners, especially especially what I'm seeing today, they go with what's popular and they go with who's the biggest face, who's the biggest, but they know they're using them as the face knowing they will profit. So when you look at a lot of commercials, whether it's fast food, whether it's medical companies, whether it's car companies, whether it's whatever, who do you see? You see celebrities because they're the face, they're the fame, they're the talent, they're the ones who make it look cool. They're the people we see on TV and like, oh, I want to be that. We don't look at the owners and say we want to be that. And that's just the truth. We don't,
Yeah.
because we don't see them. We look at a LeBron James and be like, I want to be like that. We look at a we look at a Beyonce and be like, we want to be that.
Not knowing that there's an entire system behind it
Mhm.
that you should be looking at the system and trying to get into the system and not become a pawn of the system. And not saying that the people are a pawn,
Not a,
but when you don't control
because I think Beyonce, she owns
you're right,
a lot
so
of
that's what I'm
stuff.
saying, right? So it's
Mhm.
not even saying that the people themselves are a pawn, but
Mhm.
think of it like this. Michael Jackson owned 50% of what's it called? Whatever music company that is. He owned
Um,
50% of it.
why can't I remember
Started with a
it?
P, a M?
I don't remember.
Whatever. He owned 50%, right? He was an established artist and he owned his own masters. He owned everything that he produced.
Mhm.
But then look at it after he died, nobody owned anything.
Mhm.
Nobody owned their masters. Nobody owned their publishing. Nobody owned anything.
Mhm.
Like Prince owned his stuff, but it
Chris
was
Brown owns. I think a lot of artists are starting to own their masters
they're
though.
starting to buy it back, but they don't
Mhm.
like so I mean,
Well,
which is still pivotal and important, but that's what I'm getting at. Like, even though you still have the people that can't like you had the Michael Jackson who owned his publishing, but
mhm.
people didn't know about publishing. People didn't know about the rights and stuff like that. So the people coming after him just said, "I just want to deal and be like Michael Jackson." And you know what they said?
Mhm.
"I can make you like Michael Jackson. Sure, just sign here." Now you don't own nothing, but
Mhm.
yet you got what you wanted though. And
Yeah,
so that's why it's important to still understand the systems that's behind it and not just what you see on film or on paper or whatever.
that's facts. So, the question I want to ask you is, how is ownership set up? Like, how do you set that up? Because now we're talking about how valuable ownership is, and the importance of ownership and owning your own things, and like not not being able to get taken advantage of and things like that. So I think the next question to ask is, how is ownership set up? How do I get started?
Honestly, I think it depends on the market, or not the market, but the industry. Because like for a book, for example, right? If you're doing a book ownership is you copywriting that and distributing along the platforms that you choose to distribute on, and make sure that you understand when you distribute on certain platforms, they taking a piece of the pie. But just make sure that you're comfortable with it, and that's it. You understand the left and right parameters of it. When you talk about music, when you talk about things that you do online, like a podcast, for example, do you own your own IP? Right? Like, do you own your likeness and your image? Like, you have to understand with whatever industry that you're talking about, that you're getting in, how do you establish footprint? How do you establish an actual, like, not just like, oh, I'm here representation, but how do you establish like I guess footprint, basically. And it just depends on the industry. So I would just implore people to just do their research,
Mhm.
which most people don't want to, but you have to, because like I said in the last episode, the next 3, 4, 5 years, there's going to become a time where ownership is going to be the only thing that matters. It's not going to be, oh, I have a 9 to 5, because that 9 to 5 is going to be non-existent or hard to come by, or it doesn't pay well enough to you to, do whatever you want to do.
To be comfortable in living.
Exactly. So just do the research.
Yeah. I agree. And I think now I kind of want to ask you the same question that you asked me earlier.
Hmm.
What's the difference between representation and ownership?
Um, I feel like representation is just, it's like what we saw throughout like civil rights, right?
Mhm.
Because part of the civil rights movement was the fact that we had so many musicians, entertainers, artists that were there, that was like still like all contributing to the movement, right? You had authors and writers like a James Baldwin that was able to write such a piece that was like moving people in the like literature arena. Then you had people like Malcolm X that was moving people in the people that don't read so much or as much, but they listen and they watch motivational stuff, right? He's pushing them. Then you have people like, I don't know, no singers or artists back then. Or no, you had like a Nina Simone, right? Who was able to like push certain songs out that was moving her audience. So that's what I see as representation, but a lot of them didn't own, right?
Mm.
A lot of them died broke. A lot of them, their families don't have anything, even though they may have been well off. They didn't understand ownership. They didn't understand how to set things up, or trust or anything like that. So they may have had $1 million, $2 million, which is, with what they were doing, they should have had more, just given the circumstances and stuff. But they still had enough, right? And that all went away because they didn't do their due diligence. So that's how I see it. So.
And another question, um, what do you like? What things do you think are put in place to kind of as a barrier to access ownership?
Um,
Because I think a lot of people would own their own things if it was easier said than done. But I feel like there's a lot of barriers when you talk about getting loans for things, credit, and credit history. Like, so I just want you to speak about that.
yeah, I think you touched it. I think that's when you talk about the economical stance, loans.
Mhm.
It's the biggest one. Because I mean, history's already shown us that most banks in the past, and probably still are, they looked at a certain area, and if you applying out of a certain area, they're not gonna give you a loan just because you from that area, period, right? And that's another form of discrimination. But not even just that, but when you look at it from like a standpoint of what is it like? Not so much as a barrier, but it's more of like, yeah, you own what you have, but if you want to be mainstream, you got to let that go.
Facts.
Like, that's what I think we're in now, because I think internet, social media, everything's so accessible to the point where it's like there is no excuse why you don't own your own stuff. However, if you still have that dream to be like Michael Jackson, to be like Chris Brown, to be like fill in the blank, you better get in line. This the contract you're gonna have to sign. Period. And if you come up and get an audience of your own, maybe I'll give you more, right? I'll put a little extra on the table. However, that masters is still mine. However, that publishing is still mine, right? And even if you still creep through the door, Imma still put somebody in your life where I still got access or hold to you. So
Mm.
that's kinda how I think, though. I think, like, even when it's accessible, you still have to be protective over it because there's still ways that it can be lost. So you just gotta be careful. What do you think?
Um, I would just say like the barriers to your ownership, like I said, and like you kind of explained, loan, credit history. I also think it's people and the greed. Like Chris Brown, Michael Jackson, all these other artists and entertainers, probably light bulb went off. Like, let me own this. Like, they probably had the same thing. Like, an epiphany. Like, oh, I'll probably do better if I own and I don't have to go as hard. I don't have to be in every movie. I don't have to put out a song every year. I don't have to put up an album every 2 years, right? But now,
Focus on the craft.
mhm,
Yeah.
now, right, to focus on the craft, but also the owner is now like, this is mine. I don't want to give it to you, even though you created it and you made the sound, you made the face, you made everybody love you. It's still mine. And I think a lot of people are greed. That's greed. To in my opinion, that's greed because give them people what they created,
Yeah.
and like you're going to have to get in to the owners. You're going to have to get into your bag and figure out what's the next thing you can own because you already mastered the ownership part. That doesn't mean you can't own something else. But you're holding these other people back who created the face, who created the sound, who created the fame for themselves. You're holding them back. So that's what I think.
No, I agree. And I think that's also like why it's important for us to have unity as well, because history has taught us that we need to be in unison. We need to be with each other because when you put in an effort to start doing ownership, history has shown us that they'll burn it down. They'll
Mhm.
blow it up. They'll send somebody to go kill you. Period. Right? And so it's important for us to be as one unit to where like if you destroy him, we got you too.
Mhm.
We ain't afraid of you as a group.
Mhm.
Individually, you may have whatever, you know. But yeah, so that's why I think it's important because a lot of these record companies, a lot of these entertainment industries, whatever, they got ties, not good ones, not political ties, which they have those too because of lobbying and stuff like that, but they also have ties. So
Mhm.
in order to build our own whatever, we have to have partnership with each other. And it's not so much as like, oh, we need to build our own to get away. No, we need to just build our own so that we have ownership over our own stuff because this leads into the next question of like, when you don't own it, what is that like? What type of like, and you even touched it like, what type of stuff? What type of stuff does that produce? Right? What type of rap music do you start to produce? Or what type of music,
Mm.
or not music? What type of movies do you start to produce? Right?
Yeah.
And so that's just my question for you is like, when you don't own something that you create, what in turn does that cause?
Yeah. That causes the owners to want to push out a narrative that isn't true. And what happens is the people start believing that narrative or, thinking that's cool and stuff. So I think I heard Lizzo on a podcast or something that she left her record label and she was allowed to make the music she wanted to. But going to say that, like, what you hear in rap and, black culture, not all the time, not all rap, because you got
Right.
your Kendrick Lamar's, your J. Cole's, your D Smokes, your Damani's, you have people that rap. You have your Tupacs, you know, that rapped about things that are real world things and, it has a message and meaning to the music. But then you have some club music, which I can't lie. I like we outside.
There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it.
We outside. Like I'm having a blast. And you got that music that gets you through your workout. But what's the message behind it? Baby mamas. This bitch, my bitch, your bitch, we bitch, love bitch, fuck bitch. I don't know, nigger bitch. I don't know. Um, you know, we buying houses, cars. We got bitches in the pool.
Right.
We drinking alcohol. We having rich sex. We having sex all day.
Consumerism.
Consumerism.
No ownership.
No ownership. So we're not. There's no. That's the music that's putting out. So these kids and these people that are hearing it, this is what they want. They want the. They want the chains. They want the. They want the bitches. They want the drugs. They want the alcohol. They want the sex. They want all of that. And I don't think that's good for our kids, especially for our kids, because I mean, look at kids now, social media, like they have more access to all this stuff. You can buy drugs from Amazon now, like without a doctor or a pharmacist or anything. Like you can, not even Amazon, you can purchase from an online website, and these kids know how to do it. These kids want to know how it feels to I don't know, whip my shit up. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. But they see them and they're like, oh, I want to be them.
Yeah.
So they're going to try to be them as quick as possible. So if it's the alcohol, this lean got me leaning. Yeah, they want to lean. Like, I don't know. So why like that's what it is, and that's what it turns into instead of kids listening to messages like, I want to be something when I grow up. I want to invest. I want to own. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer.
A real estate investor.
A real estate. Like I want to
Investor,
own. I
a
want to
land
buy this
developer.
house, but I want to own a bunch of homes. I want to
Yeah.
make money off my homes. I want to create wealth. I want things like that. And
Yeah.
I feel like, now we're getting into people are starting to make kids rap. So they're learning their ABCs, which I approve, because if they're going to listen to that, you might as well
Might as well.
do it with what's that one? I eat my veggies.
I ain't never heard it. Don't know. My daddy had a song though. He
Yum,
made us
yum.
rap.
Eat it up.
He was
Yum,
like
yum.
ABC 1, 2, 3.
Oh no.
I swear to God.
So like basically she it's like I forgot what it was called, but she's like, I eat my veggies. Yum, yum. Eat it up. Yum, yum.
Okay.
Eat it up. And so it's like, okay, cool. That's fine, but like kids still have access to all that stuff. So like I'm just saying that to say that's what ownership does. They want to push out a narrative, especially to the Black community, because a lot of these rappers and these R&B artists, they do not own their music. If we're being truthful, they do not own it. The record label does. They get money from it, but they don't own it. So when you hear those things and those things are being put out, I don't think they want to put that out all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they want to put out some shit that means something. They want to put out some stuff that means something, but the label's like, I need this so the kids can hear this. And
You
this
ever
is
heard
what
that a Dream Girls, right?
Mhm.
When they told Jimmy, they say, Jimmy, go sing this song. It had to be a sad song or whatever, about his life or whatever. He was like, man, I ain't trying to do that shit. And then he went out there, he was like, Jimmy want more. Jimmy want more. Jimmy want more. You ain't never seen this shit?
It sounds familiar.
And they fired his ass for that shit.
Mhm.
It was like, you went against the grain. We ain't even here for it. Then he ended up dying. And then it was like, we blame you for his death. That man, I don't give a fuck. He didn't
Damn.
care. But I think you kind of like you hit everything of what I was thinking too, because
But also like
oh my
I'm
bad.
not done. I'm
okay,
sorry.
Go ahead.
But also like when you get into sports,
Mhm.
like you get the jersey sales, right? And now we can get into really NIL deals and how colleges used to own these players and like, oh, we're giving you a
A
free
scholarship.
education. Like
Yeah.
that should be enough.
When this is
No.
a public school.
Yeah, like when you're
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, like when you're still benefiting from their name. So like we can get into this conversation in another episode. I like NIL because there's people who really
Bring a lot of money in.
bring a lot of money in, but really didn't have nothing
Exactly.
from the day they were born till they graduated high school. This is really their first big check for them to help their
Michael
families.
Vick was broke as shit, and he was
Mhm.
bringing so much money to his college. Like, what are we talking about?
Right. So, and I'm saying that like I don't want them to stop NIL because I think that's a conversation coming up. However, I do think it's affecting the sport, but we can talk about that in
Yeah, I really think that's
another
another. I
episode.
think that's another episode only because when you talk about NIL deals in college, I think now you even have to start saying maybe we need to pay these people in high school too. Maybe we need to start paying these people in AAU, right?
Mhm. No, for
Because
real. Cuz
all of them is market. All of them is capitalizing off of these kids.
mhm.
Who's getting the money?
Cause now you have kids going on ESPN like, oh, you got them like, oh, where they gonna go at? Are they gonna go to Duke? Are they gonna go to UNC? Are they going to
Exactly.
Kansas? And all that stuff. So like,
But now
but
what?
also but I do also agree, like I agree these kids deserve the NIL because they
Of
sacrifice
course.
a lot for the sport. And you say they getting a free education, but like they're always traveling. You got fans calling them out of their names. You got fans calling them out of their names. You got them worrying about, am I going to win this game? Or, what do the people think of my performance, right? And then they got to focus on school at the same. That's a lot.
I wouldn't even just
That's
say
a
that
lot to
though.
deal with as a person, as a teenager coming out of high school, because you're 17, 18 coming out of high school, and you got all this pressure on you on how successful you will be as an athlete. And
From grown
you
adults.
gotta do good with your grades because if you don't, they gonna kick you off the team because they don't want the team GPA to go down.
But I think it is even to the point of like imagine like I'd be mad as hell. I'm sleeping on the floor back at home.
Mhm.
My family lives in whatever, like obviously everybody different. So I ain't gonna say everybody got a sad story. However, some of these kids are poor as fuck, coming from some of the nastiest neighborhoods in America. And they go and you telling me they're going over here and they giving everything to your program. And then and this is getting off topic, but you saying when they go home for winter break, summer break, they go back to go sleeping on the couch? They go back to go sleeping on the floor? That's insane. That's insane. Like, nah. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I feel like that's its own episode in itself. But like
Yeah.
even with professional sport teams, you can get traded the next day. You can get cut the next day. So I think it's important to use that opportunity of being an athlete and getting paid that millions of dollars to create your own thing cuz it's going to be hard to own a
Basketball
professional
team, yeah,
team.
something
Not
like
even
that.
basketball, baseball, soccer, like all of that. Like even if you talk about like the WWEs, which is not a real sport, but it still brings in a lot of money.
And yeah, that is a whole nother episode because then it brings into the question of like, why is only the black sports have a cap or a salary cap? Football and basketball. Baseball, that's the highest paying sports, but that's the highest paying sports because they don't have
Yeah, they don't
a
have a
cap,
salary cap. Mm,
right? Because
mhm.
if it was the same way, basketball or football, maybe not football, but basketball would probably be the most highest paying sports
I think
because
football would be
even
too.
but I'm saying though, because even with the salary cap, you got so many people making $100 million.
Mhm.
So imagine what they will make without a salary cap. So that's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. But it just goes back to the
And
stuff.
like shoot, I think I agree again. This is another episode because with the things that's going with the WNBA negotiations, those women should be getting, and I'm not saying this because I'm a fan of women, just because I'm a fan of women's basketball or because I'm a woman or whatever, but they really have changed the game when it
Yeah,
comes to women's sports in general. And they should be getting paid. They're filling up arenas like crazy, more than the men,
yeah.
and they're not getting paid.
But
And it makes me so mad because these are at the end of the day, these are somebody's children. These are humans, and it's like
not only that, they have
th-
responsibilities.
they have exactly, and they're not getting the same respect because they're women and nobody watches it. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Because now, at least I can say this for us, we're at the point where we're watching women's basketball in college. We don't know what the hell's going on in men's college basketball.
Yeah, we don't.
I know AJ. the Bunts, whatever his name is, from BYU. I know Darren Peterson. I know Duke basketball, the team, because I like Duke basketball. Duke men's basketball. I am a USC women's U of SC Gamecocks women's basketball fan. However, I like Duke men's basketball. Um, like, you got your NBA stars kids, Elijah Arenas. Bryce, I think he's a red shirt, Bryce James. So like Cayenne Anthony. So like I'm following a little bit, but like women's basketball right now, it's this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm really mad that they're not getting now the women in college, they're getting paid from NIL. It's really the WNBA.
Yeah.
And it forces those girls who should go on to the WNBA. I'm gonna stay another year. Cause NIL paying me millions. I'm about to get less than $200,000. I'm gonna stick with this NIL.
Facts.
But that's another episode. So to get back on track, I think, athletes, especially athletes, where they make millions of dollars and then their face and you get endorsements and sponsors with like Gatorade, Nike, and you're making your shoes, and take advantage while you have it. And, because, you don't know with injuries and everything, that stuff can end with the snap of a finger. You know what I'm saying? So like, start owning your thing. So I love to see, like, especially these WNBA players, they're creating their shoes and they have ownership over the shoes. Even though it's Nike, they still have they're the owner of the Asia Wilson shoes, the A1s, or the Sabrina I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but Sabrina, who plays on the New York Liberty, her shoes, Angel Reese Reebok shoes. So and just any sport, men or women, like take advantage and use that to find something that you like or a passion. Go out there and get some ownership.
Yeah.
Because that's, like you said, in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to need that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be something for leisure anymore. It's going to be something you need to live comfortable.
I would even say, look at it like this. Like, don't always look at ownership as like a way of like, oh, I'm getting paid. Because that's not what ownership is really about. Ownership is about protection. It's about making sure that if I'm bringing something of value, I have something that, protects me in the long run, right? But what actually matters when we're talking about like monetarily and stuff like that is equity at all times. Equity is what matters. Why? Because I don't necessarily want to own a WNBA team or an NBA team because I'm not going to always play for the team. And so the question is not like, oh, I'm playing for the team, so I need to be getting paid. No, but I do need to be having some share in that equity that you're receiving, right? Because I am bringing in part of that value. And so I don't know how we're going to run the numbers, but we need to run the numbers so that it's favorable, not to just me, but to everybody on this team. So that's what I think we need to be talking about too, is like, when you bring in value, do you have a share in the equity? Or are you just a salary-based person? Because if you're getting paid based off of salary and you're not getting paid based off of the equity that you're bringing in, it protects you on the one end if you don't bring in the amount of equity that they thought you was going to bring in. But it hurts you in the long run if you surpass what they even thought, like Michael Jordan, who's only getting paid $30 million a year for a contract, but he's bringing this equity of over $1 billion, not just to the Chicago Bulls, but to the NBA as a whole.
And the city of Chicago.
Exactly. And so that's why it's important as a whole. But
and they talked about that a little bit when his mom was negotiating, with I think it was
Nike.
It was with
Nike.
I don't know if it was with Nike, but it was like with a shoe.
It was
shoe
Nike.
company because didn't he do something before
first.
Nike?
It was Adidas.
Yeah.
Because Adidas was the most popular shoe back then at that time.
Yeah, I think it was something before Nike because it showed. I saw a clip.
Yeah, it was Adidas.
And
it was like, no, we ain't never doing that.
Yeah,
like that.
In the movie of Aaron, and the mom was basically saying, only I know and he knows what he's capable of. You might want to, pay out. And so I think every athlete, every entertainer, every artist need to go in with that same mindset. Like, you don't know what you're going to get out of me. Get what you can get out of them.
Exactly.
And then turn it into your own ownership. So.
Yeah. But I think, like, just going back to what you said, because I want to harp on it. Like, what happens when you don't own the stuff?
Mhm.
It now the people who do own it, they are not affected by the consequences of whatever is being pushed out, right? Because when we think about it in the aspect of what is now being marketed, what's now being pushed out, it is those things that bring hot topics, like we talked about the last episode.
Mhm.
Breaking news or coming to you live, right? It's
Mhm.
talking about just hot topics,
Mhm.
things fresh on the press, right? And it ain't nothing of value. Um, these people are not affected by that stuff. They're not affected by bringing you the wrong stuff. They're not affected by hurting your community because you now have a drug problem because of the war on drugs, or hurting your community because now most of you are like baby mama dramas because of the
And
music
guns and
and
alcohol,
gun violence and police violence and
sex, like
just so many different things. They're not affected by it because it's not
mhm.
their community. They don't care. At the end of the day, why would and it goes back to the last stuff that we talked about too. Why would you care about something that has nothing to do with you?
Mhm.
You're benefiting from the stuff itself, but you ain't hurting by what you cause from it, right?
Mhm.
And that's another reason
Facts.
why ownership is important because when you create something that you're tied to, it it creates a certain level of like empathy and a certain level of like
Discernment.
not discernment, but just like emotions behind what you're doing because you don't think necessarily in monetary value. You think more in emotional value.
Mhm.
How many people is this going to help? When we talk about the man that helped push forward the pacemaker and stuff like that, I'm sure he wasn't. A lot of these people wasn't thinking in monetary value because if they were, most of them wouldn't be broke today because most of them are broke, right? And so that's why ownership is important. So,
Yeah. I think you really hit the nail on the head with that one, like with what you said in the recap. Um, yeah.
yeah, I agree. I think Martin Luther King talked about it the most in some of his.
Your cousin set up Martin Luther King, by the way.
Hey man, we ain't getting on that. All
Okay.
right, give him
It's
show him
an
some
inside joke,
respect.
y'all.
When you
He did set up Martin Luther King.
when the
Uh,
reports come out, that's when I'll believe it. No, I mean you
Your
know.
cousin.
Hey, we got a family reunion coming up. You might want to shut up. Yeah. But no, Martin Luther, like I said, Martin Luther King said it best in his last days of his life when he was really targeting equity more than he was targeting equality. Because if you don't have a share in the equity, right, it doesn't matter how much value that you produce, how much value that you add into an organization, you're not receiving any of the benefits. And so it's important that you set up something to make sure that you and your family is really protected for the rest of your life and even afterwards to the second and third generation. And so that's really what we're talking about. And just making sure that, you know, you're not just another pawn in the game. You're not just another you know, one hit wonder, somebody that came and went, but you're somebody that, love what you do and you established it and you just did that because honestly, I remember when I was young, right?
Mhm.
Well, you make fun of it, but
Mhm.
I knew from a young age that I wanted to be an artist growing up,
Mhm.
right?
I don't make fun of it. I make fun of the little picture with it. Cause it was
Whatever.
like you had crayons and it's like, I want to be an artist.
Right.
And I was like,
But
oh, it's actually a really cute picture.
But what I
But
what
it
I'm
was
what I'm
funny as
getting
fuck.
at though is like most teachers and adults back then and sometimes even now, probably especially now, it we push the narrative of you have to be a worker. I don't like you need to find a job, something of a career, right? And I think now we're in a time where you have to find something that you love to do, right? Whatever it may be, and make sure that whatever you love to do, you own it, you own the equity, and you like it's yours essentially because like we talked about throughout this entire episode, when you don't own it, when you don't have control over it, somebody else does and somebody else is benefiting from it, and you may reap some of the benefits but you're not the sole person that's control over it. And so there's a lot of things that come with that. So
Yeah. And I think we could really get deeper
I think so too.
with this. So for now though, here's some questions we're gonna leave you with. One, who owns it? Right?
Right.
Two, who makes the money from it?
Right.
3, who carries the risk?
Right.
4, who benefits long term?
Right.
And 5, what would change if ownership changed?
Exactly.
Meaning, say Demario owns it and I don't. I'm the face. I'm the talent. What would change if I owned it instead of Demario?
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, not to make the podcast even longer, but just to emphasize, right? As an audience, you have power. You have like a say so. You know, they try to make you feel like you don't, but you do. And so just remember that your attention is power, right?
Mhm.
Because your attention is what pays the bills nowadays. When you
Mhm.
talk about internet, when you talk about social media or anything else, it's your attention and you watching these ads and even like, buying stuff from the ads that's being put out. That's what's paying the bills. So unity is important as a people. So make sure that you connect with, not just us, but just everybody in general. Make sure that you're tied to like-minded people that are on the same page as you. And whenever something is not right or is in question, take away the attention. Because I promise you and I guarantee you, when you start using the power that you do have and really just emphasizing just the little small areas, things will change. So that's really important. Yeah,
Yeah. And I'll just say, like, just keep following us because I think this could go so much deeper. Like, you can pull it one by one, like how, but we just don't have all the time in the world.
yeah,
We don't want to do like a 10-hour podcast,
yeah,
or a 10-hour episode, but like how does sex and music, like hearing the word sex and talk about sex and music affects others? How does alcohol affects others? Drugs, guns, violence, like how does that affect you, not only from just seeing it but also hearing it, and
yeah,
how that affects you in your daily life? And I think we kind of touched it very
small.
very small
Yeah,
in the first episode, but like as we get into a groove and as we get on a schedule, we will be like, this is the big topic, but now we're going to pull it out into
yeah.
another episode
Layer
and
by
make
layer by layer.
layer by layer
That's
by
a
layer.
song, isn't it? Layer by layer by layer. No, it's
Mm,
not, but
no.
gotcha.
Um,
Yeah,
so again, you don't need to control everything, but ownership does change your future
it
for
does.
sure.
It does.
Um,
Why?
why?
Yeah, because
Oh,
I don't want to make it long, but I do want to point
I
out,
mean, you're
right?
not making it.
Like
You're good on time.
trying to control everything is what creates what we have today. You caring about monopolizing stuff. You caring about, you know, the monetary stuff, the money situation, whatever the fuck it's called. Because the only thing that we're really trying to emphasize is that ownership gives you more creative ability or creative control over what you have, right? And so it's not to try to make you feel like, oh, I need more money, more money, more money. That ain't it. It's you need more control so that you can one protect your community and protect um your culture, right? Not for the money. So you don't need to control everything.
Mhm.
I just wanted to emphasize that.
No.
But you do need to own something and something fast because the world is changing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to say a couple things. Culture follows ownership, and I think that's the next.
Oh, that's true. Oh my
That's the
God, I do
next
want to.
layer we can peel off. Like,
Yeah, because that's
culture
deep.
follows the ownership,
It
and
do.
if you want different outcomes of the culture and what,
It
like, because
do. It
we
really
talk
do.
about how Black people are so disrespected, and it's very blatant, and it's very hello. So, so when we talk about culture follows ownership, when we talk about how you know Black disrespect is so common, how we talked about earlier in the episode, and how at the BAFTAs with Michael B. Jordan
Right.
and Delroy Lindo, and how even our experience in LA, and how common and how
Yeah.
easy and how really black and really how Black disrespect is unconditional, meaning you don't think about it. Like, you don't think about who you're disrespecting. You just know it looks cool, but
Yeah.
people don't even think like, oh, I'm disrespecting black people, or if they see black people disrespect, I don't even think I should have empathy for this person. So I say that to say culture follows ownership, but if you want different outcomes, change.
The
Learn how
structure.
ownership works. Change the structure. Learn
Yeah.
how ownership works.
And even going even deeper, because man, I wish we would have talked about that earlier. But when you can even tell that culture follows ownership because it is changing the culture. Like we don't own stuff. We don't own stuff, right? And that's changing the culture because what are you seeing, right? You're seeing it's okay for a man to wear nails now. Where did that come from? And that ain't nothing against it. It's nothing against it, right?
Mhm,
But I'm just saying that was not a thing back then. That was not in our culture. That was
mhm,
never in our culture. So what changed,
mhm.
right? That's all. That's the only question I'm gonna say. What changed? You see, that's all I'm gonna say. Things are changing, and if it ain't from the culture, then who is it from? Why is it from? What benefit does it serve?
Again, if you would like different outcomes and you're not pleased with the outcomes, you should learn how ownership works.
Yeah,
So we did leave you with 5 questions a little like 5 minutes earlier. So we're going to leave you with one final question and then sign off for this episode.
just
So
remember that we do want you guys to engage. Um, whatever questions you have, leave them in the comments, and whatever we talked about, put that in the comments of whatever what you think. Because like we said before, we're not subject matter experts. We don't know everything. So engage with us. Let us know what you feel and what you think. You know, and even if you agree, let us know. If you disagree, let us know. Tell us how we might be wrong. So that's where we at.
that's where we're at. Final question for today, y'all. Where in your life could ownership change your direction? So, thank you for watching this episode of Asking the Right Questions. Don't forget to click subscribe down low and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. Um, yeah, and like
Yeah,
Mario said, keep engaging. We want to hear from you. We want to hear questions. We want to hear answers, solutions, and see if we agree. And just other topics that you think is important for us to discuss.
and
So,
just remember,
Mhm.
the answer isn't the problem.
It's the question.